with another episode of Innovation from the Global South on Future Frame TV. This is your host, Dr. Almas. My today's guest is Thays Barreto. She is running a startup company that deals with drones, drone pilots. Let's talk to her to know more about her journey. Hello, everyone, with another episode of Innovation from the Global South on Future Frame TV. This is your host, Dr. Almas. And today I have a very special guest who is running a startup company with the name Beyond Space. I welcome her to the show. Hi, Thais Alessandra Barreto. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Alma. I'm so grateful for being invited here, and it's an honor to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Tell us something about your startup, Beyond Space. I just know that it deals with drones. I would like to know a little bit more in detail.
Okay, so I'm an aerospace engineer, and my partner is a mechanical engineer. So we thought, okay, how can we help the world with our knowledge? And I thought, okay, there is this kind of aerospace technologies which exist, which are well established, which are utilized in other fields. How can we make people, and especially business, utilize it, employ it in their work? So what we do is we make it easier for business persons to employ aerial and space images in their work. So what are we doing now is we make it easier for companies who need data to be in contact with drone pilots. So we can make film, photography, inspections, monitoring. So what we do, the company has a problem, like a tower to inspect. It contacts us. We find the closest drone pilot. The drone pilot makes the images. We process it and create a report with all the details of the inspection and send it to the client. So the client can use aerial images without having the knowledge or the training or even having the technology of a drone, for an example. So we make it easier for the companies to employ such technologies in their work.
Great. One question that I was just wondering, what was the first thing that came in this story? It was your love for drones and drone technology to explore more about it, or it was more like, you saw a problem that in the industry was facing and you tried to solve it?
We actually saw the problem. We saw that we can employ this knowledge and this technology in many fields. In other countries, this technology is already employed in agriculture, in infrastructure. But here in Brazil, we have this gap. We know we have this gap because people are a little scared of adopting new technologies. They think, okay, this might be expensive. I have to know many things. Are you trying to fool me? And this kind of stuff. So we have to do a educational work actually in the beginning to help solve that. And with this culture of ESG, drones can help a lot because they are clean. They are moved by clean energy and they are carbon free. So they can be a way for companies to reduce their carbon marks. And it happened with a great timing. Our idea in this ESG culture, which we are raising. So we saw this opportunity, this gap here. It was inside of our knowledge. It was something we understand of and we can help people. So, okay, let's do this.
Bit more in detail about how companies they can reduce the carbon print by using drone technology.
Of course. For an example, we have drone delivery today. So it is starting now. It's in the beginning. We have, for an example, for big cities, a restaurant can use a drone to take the order of the client closer to the client, to a drone part, and then a delivery guy will take it and take it to the client home. In the case of infrastructure and agriculture industries, we can make the monitoring of the production to evaluate whenever there are plagues and this kind of stuff. So we can use one pilot with one drone to map the whole production instead of many people with many cars, with polluting cars to evaluate the big area.
So Thais, you're working with a very great idea. I have seen, first women around me who is working with drones. And I was wondering from where drones came. Tell us something about the history of drones.
Okay, so let's talk about the word drone. Okay, during World War II, we had a German bomb called Buzz bomb, and it's the V1. The actual name was V1, but they called the Buzz bomb. Buzz because of the sound the bomb did. So buzz. When we talk about drone, it's the same idea. So drone in English, it's the male bee, and the sound of the equipment drone, technology drone, resembles the sound of a male bee. So that's the origin of the word drone. Here in Brazil, our first drone was certified in 1986. It was developed by a company called Brazilian Company of Tractors, and it was a aerial target. So it was an equipment which it was different from the drones we see today, which have 4 propellers and was quadcopters. It resembled more a small airplane, and it was utilized for anti-aerial training, so for military systems.
I can see it took a lot of time for, becoming drones popular. As just mentioned that the first drone that was commercially available was in 1986, right?
First one certified.
So for the commercial purpose, do you have any idea when it came into the market for a common person to buy it and use it?
No, but it gained popularity after the year 2000s. So we had smaller drones. The drones were smaller. They were easier to carry. Their battery is like cell phones. We have each new drone, we have better batteries. And the cost, since it gained popularity, the cost is still reducing. But we have really expensive drones yet because we have many technologies being developed to be utilized in drones, like greater cameras and sensors to be employed there. I think it was before the year 2000s, and it's getting more and more popularity, getting lighter and getting better.
For operating drones, the drone pilots, do they need to have some kind of specific certification? Is there any kind of legislation that controls who can operate the drones, or it is something very easy to learn and do it on commercial purpose?
It's easy to learn and do it, but we have regulations here. ANAC, it regulates the operation of drones here in Brazil. And we have also regulations from the Thays A, which specifies where the drone can fly, the regions where it cannot, and Anatel, which certifies the communication systems. But when you buy a commercial drone, not experimental one, a commercial drone who has already been certified, You just have to worry about the regulations by ANAC. So we have a system called SARPAS, where every drone pilot must be registered, so they can collect which is your drone, which is your data, so they can regulate your use of the drone. So we have this platform SARPAS from ANAC to regulate the drone operation, and we have some regulations for the drone pilot to be always in touch with.
Is there any competitor in the market that you have right now in the place where you're working?
We have a specific company which is called Horus, and is a great company. They are focused on smart cities and the application of drones in smart cities. So it's a bit different from us, but they are a great inspiration for us and kind of a competitor.
Right. So the technology that they're using is more or less the same as yours, but the market that they're targeting is different than yours. Right.
Yeah.
You were telling me about the carbon input that companies they can reduce by using the technology of drones. Any kind of problem that you faced while launching this startup?
Yeah, we haven't launched it yet. We're doing a crowdfunding this week to raise money for the early stage of the startup. But one problem we have seen, since we have talked to potential customer, we have done a work, we have done a job with a client from the real estate market. And what we have seen is that people are still scared of adopting this new technology, and people say things like, okay, it is working the way I do now, so why should I adopt a technology I don't understand, and that might be expensive. So we have to explain all the benefits of employing a drone technology, like, okay, we can expand your knowledge about your production, you can raise your productivity by raising your production and by lowering your costs. So you can save money, you can save time, and you don't have to have this kind of knowledge. We'll do everything for you. People in Brazil are still really scared of adopting such technologies. That's the main problem we are facing now.
So I was wondering, how is it to be drone pilot? Is it something very difficult? How you approach them?
In our network, we have 44 drone pilots, which are in our network. So what we do is we have a job, which can be film, photography, inspection, or crop monitoring. And then in our network, we can find the closest pilot and activate them to go into the field and make the imaging. This pilot will send us the images, and our specialist will process it in softwares and make a report. So we have 44 pilots all over Brazil. We are in more than 13 states. We can grow in clients and we grow in pilots. So we are always offering the best jobs and the best solutions for our pilots and for our clients. We want them to grow together.
You're an aerospace engineer.
Yeah.
Tell me your journey of, being an aerospace engineer and then going specifically, why drones? Why you chose specifically drones?
I am an aerospace engineer. In aerospace engineering, we study a lot of this technology that work in this space. So drones, airplanes, helicopters, rockets, and satellites. And all of this is a little bit out of our life. We don't actually stop to think, okay, how does my cell phone network works? We don't think it comes from space, for an example. So I met Elder, and we talked about how we wanted to boost the aerospace sector in Brazil, and how we can do that by helping society, by helping Brazilians. And we saw that the drone market is a market in development, which is expected to grow a lot. So we thought, okay, let's make it more accessible for people. And we decided to start a company together to fulfill this dream of us.
Do you feel any kind of challenges being a woman? Because it's too much, technological. So when you're in the market, it's because we hear a lot that there are some stereotypes that are linked to women. So you being someone who is in the market and on the daily basis, you meet with so many people from different backgrounds. So were there any kind of stereotypes that you faced?
Actually, in this business, I haven't faced any yet. Actually, my partner is responsible for the commercial work. So when you have to talk to clients, he's the best to talk to clients. I'm not so good at it. And so I haven't faced it in this business. I have faced it in my life, in my career, especially as a aerospace engineer. But in the business, I haven't yet faced anything. I hope I don't, but I think it's a little bit an utopia for me. But okay, I haven't faced it yet.
The things that are changing as well. I think people, they are getting more and more awareness with all these movements that are going on, especially regarding women in STEM fields. So, guys, what do you see? What is your vision for the next 10 years?
For me, I hope I can be a good leader in my company in Beyond Space, and I expect to see more and more drones and technology being employed in our daily lives, such as drone delivery and other eVTOLs, which are the electrical vertical takeoff and landings, like the one from Embraer, which resemble a drone, but it's like an Uber, autonomous Uber. So I think the future is getting closer, and I hope I can see some of it in the next 10 years. And for the world, I see we have a movement now, like you said, to support women in leadership, to have more diversity in their boards, in their leadership roles. That's it. I have a optimistic vision of the future.
Great. If you compare a Brazilian scenario of drones, and you just mentioned about urban air mobility, and you compare that with high-income countries like US or countries from Europe, where you place Brazil? What is the position of Brazil?
It's not the worst country, but we are used to use traditional means to do stuff. We are not really open to technology. Brazil doesn't have a great history of technology development. We have this idea of United States being a reference for technology because they have developed many famous technology during history. We don't. And we didn't do so because we don't have a real investment from government for education and technology. So I think here in Brazil, due to this history, we have the kind of scare of adopting new processes and new technology. In the case of the drone market, for an example, we have a $14 billion market which in 2019, which expected to become $43 billion market by 2025. In Brazil, we have $1 billion market for drones. And like I said, it's not the worst country, but we still have a lot to improve. Here, most of the drone market is employed in infrastructure, so in inspections, and it's like 45%, and almost 26% is in agriculture. And we have a large production of our agriculture that we can employ this technology. So we have a great market to achieve. And even in the infrastructure case, we have the energy market, which is in expansion here in Brazil. And it's a great opportunity for us to start with this technology.
Exactly. I mean, just as you mentioned about agriculture market, I think this was the best thing that you just hit, in the market with this drone technology. Thais, but why? I mean, I was just wondering when I first time met you, it was a startup accelerator program, and one thing that I noticed over there as well, that there were very, very few women. Again, I'm going back to the women in science question. Why women, they don't come forward for when we talk about innovation, when we talk about startup ecosystem? Why is that? Why we don't see much women over there?
I think it's all about the culture. Again, we come back to the culture side of things, because it starts with the toys, so you have the scientists toys, which are for guys, for boys, and we have dolls. It's really difficult to hear a little girl telling she wants to be an astronaut, or she wants to be scientist, or she wants to be an engineer. It's really difficult to hear that, even when we are kids. Everything starts in the childhood, I think. And as we grow old, we have some brave women which fall out of this tendency and think about, okay, I'm doing engineering. And then they enter an engineering class, and sometimes they are the only women, or there are 2 women in the classroom and 40 guys. Classes are difficult. Calculus, physics is difficult for everyone. But when you are the only girl in the class, you start to think, okay, this might be difficult only for me.
How was the proportion of girls and boys in your class, in your engineering class?
We were 4 women in more than 50 students.
Okay, yeah. This is one of the reasons that I asked this question, because you are one of the very few aerospace female engineers that I know personally. So that's why I was wondering, and I asked this question. And then going to the point of less women in the startup ecosystem, what do you think? Why women, they don't take those challenges that, I mean, apparently feels like men, they're very open to tackle with?
Startups today are mainly technology startups and science startups, and these fields have less women. Even the fields in which we have more women, like medicine, we still don't have many women in science. We have to get into a graduation, to finish our graduation, and then we think, okay, I can go to the traditional way, and it will be easier at least, or I can go to a market which is the startup market, which is more risky. It's difficult for everyone. It will be even difficult for me, because I'll be a woman in this market.
Who is your role model, by the way? Is there anyone?
Oh, there are a lot of women I love to follow. You is one of them.
Oh, thank you.
I
I'm honored.
Yeah, I have some friends which are my role models also, and they, because every time I think, okay, I can do this. I'm tired. I don't want, even in science, and I can do this. It's difficult. I'm tired, and I look at my friends and I think they're doing this. I can do it too. And there are that role models which are unachievable, like famous people, like there are women which spread the words of women leadership, like Daniela Kashish from Ambev. We have Alexandre Loha, which is always talking about female empowerment and Black female empowerment.
I think one of the reasons that you mentioned that you follow more the local heroes and local entrepreneurs is that there is a very growing trend of highlighting the local stories. And because for some reason, we feel more empathetic with those people who are actually from the same background where we belong. So probably this is one of the reasons that you follow more those women who are from the same culture and from the same place where you belong, and then then you look outward to the other parts of the world. Thais, your project is quite interesting. As you said, that apparently drones, they are very famous. People, they know it as a kind of means of entertainment for photography. I mean, there's a growing trend of food deliveries through drones and all that stuff. But seeing this specific niche that you're working with agriculture industry and with land industry, this is a very nice initiative. It's a very nice project. Do you think this project has the potential to go other parts of Latin America as well? I'm asking you this question because Brazil being we know it as the best country of South America. So if we are seeing this challenge here in this country, that still people, they don't know how to adopt this technology. I'm just wondering, the case in other countries of South America probably won't be, in a better condition. So do you feel that there is a huge market that exists even outside of Brazil as well in this South American continent?
Yeah, the nicest thing about our model is that it can be employed all over the world. It can go global, and because we just have to have drone pilots in our network in this region, and producers, entrepreneurs from this region can contact us, and we'll find in our network the closest drone pilot. So we just have to have the drone pilots there, and everything works really well. It's really interesting also that it's great for a low touch economy, which is the economy that was raised by this COVID pandemic, which is to diminish the contact between persons, between the company and the client. For an example, we can our model, our business model is great for this low touch economy. We don't need to have a personal contact with the drone pilot, not even the client. We can do everything remotely. So it's less affected by some kind of pandemic, and we can go global. We can do all over the world, services all over the world. We just need to have everywhere. We can do it everywhere we have drone pilots.
Great. One last message that you would like to give to the listeners of this program.
Well, for the women and for the minorities, go after your dreams. There will be many obstacles, but each obstacle you can surpass. You are opening doors for other people that are coming behind you, so you can help other people. And for entrepreneurs who are watching this, if you have a need, maybe we can fulfill it. We can solve it with our services. So get in contact with us, and we can talk about how we can help you save money and save time.
Thank you very much, Thays, Barreto. It was really wonderful to talk to you and get so much inspirations.
Thank you, Almas. It was really great to be here and to talk to everyone who's watching about the drone market, women in STEM, women in entrepreneurship. And every time it's really great to talk to you.
Thank you very much. Take care. So, dear audience, this was all about our today's episode. If you liked, please don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel of Traces Dreams.